Amanda Baloyi to continue with the topic here tonight, and that is the branding. And then I'm not going to interfere much, right? I hope so. I hope we are not. I'm not going to interfere. I hope. Whew. Yeah, ne? Today.
Yeah.
Right. Already I'm finding people very interesting. Thomas Masinga is actually watching on Facebook Live. Pascal Tamigenge, Facebook Live. Yeah, very interesting indeed. Yeah, no, go gontle tota. Taba branding ka re batho ba e ratile wetse. O ka re ba e ratile tota. E re ke le fe monyetla to greet the listeners, and then we can start with our topic for tonight. Hope all is well.
Let me start greeting you, Mhlanka, and thank you once again for the opportunity that you are granting us to empower and add value to the community.
So true.
I had a wonderful day today.
No. Nekitla more because of I also have to congratulate you. What? Kitse wena ka re dumedisa the listeners.
Okay.
So when I know so can line to deep.
Bareti dumelang ke Nkarabile Wisdom Mokoto, award-winning author, certified speaker, TV host and co-radio host. Ka ka pa ka mo le leng teng le reditse ko dintlong mo koloing mo di founung. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Wonderful. Madam.
Good evening.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
Still blessed by the grace of God. And how are you? Very cold weather, by the way.
Yes, it's a bit chilly. I hear seasons have changed, and now winter is in July, August, and September.
Well,
that's what I heard. But yeah, good evening, listeners. My name is Amanda Baloyi. That's CEO of Ntikelo Media, co-director of Par Excellence, a speaker, and I'm in the business of business.
Business of business.
I'm in the business of business.
Yeah, you mentor other businesses.
Yes.
By the way, Rawi, Eric Yetseyana ne?
Okay.
Kitse munyetla honor to congratulate you on your interview that we had this day.
Yes.
Right. Hope that you represented me very well.
No, very well. No, I did. No, you will see it's coming. The interview is coming soon.
It's coming soon.
You will see that I've represented you very well.
Okay.
And I mean, you can see me. I still have some makeups.
Hey, I saw you. They put you on that chair and then making your face.
Yes, you can see now. I didn't say makeup. So
yeah.
I still look good now.
All right. No, good stuff indeed. Yeah, we people have been really commenting about the branding, and also I've been passing the message about branding, and then I found it very interesting. There are some things last week that I've learned, and I never knew, by the way, but I got to learn them, and then wanting to apply them personally in my life, because there are some things that you do, right, and then you do them right, but you don't know exactly what are you doing, but you automatically do them, right? Branding yourself, Naki, Jewel Peter Nkosi, and this is what I'm doing, right? And then from there you jump and say, by the way, I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in So then I separated the two and then make them different, but it's for the same person, So I always do that, but unfortunately, I did not know actually that is something that you are going to emphasize, and then something that is very, very important, very important, So Babang Haba hey, you must start to brand yourself, So you don't just brand the product, you must also brand yourself, like the artist that okay, I see you, right, but your product is not interesting, So those are the things. So I've learned, Madam, I just want to tell you the truth.
Wow.
I have learned a lot, and then I hope that today you are going to expand my capacity of thinking.
Wow, that's a brilliant challenge.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
All right, let's go for
Challenge
it.
Challenge accepted.
Let's go for it.
All right. So last week we spoke a lot about branding, but we also took it from the marketing perspective, because these things work together. When you look at the spectrum of branding, of marketing, and then we go to advertising and sales.
All right.
Advertising and sales are basically the end results of how the branding has worked or the marketing has worked. So today,
are we recapping first so that we can accommodate everybody?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna do a little bit of recap. So much that today I even brought some notes,
Yeah.
And this was because we got a couple of questions. People were asking from the last show. These are some of the questions. So we're just looking at that so that we can remember how to answer them. And
Right.
that is why I'm saying I know you want to arrest yourself and not interfere too much.
Okay.
But I think a certain level of interference will be accepted.
Okay. So you
to
say
ask questions.
All right.
Because I'm thinking I may be presenting and speaking, but as I speak, you may have questions that others who are listening have the same questions. So I think we can limit the interruptions to such.
All right.
Okay.
I think we can work on it.
Request
that way.
accepted.
Request accepted. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So last week we spoke. Of course, some of the things that we spoke about last week have also been emphasized in the previous weeks in terms of marketing, about knowing yourself or discovering yourself. You cannot market something you do not know. You cannot brand something you do not know, because branding is about communicating what you know. It's communicating what that thing is. If it is a person, if it is a business, if it is a book, a product, or a service. Now, in producing that content to market or to speak about it, which is the other part of things. So to put it back into context, you discover yourself, you then position yourself. So when we speak about positioning yourself, we then look at finding your target market, finding your message, how you're going to differentiate yourself, your unique selling point. That's why we spoke about, your book must be different. And Pastor Joel here asked, but what if I'm writing about the same thing? Am I supposed to now come up with things that don't exist? And things like that? I said, no, but the principles may be the same.
Okay.
If you and I write a book on money, we may have the same principles, but your way of writing and my way of writing cannot be the same. They shouldn't be the same. Also, even the content that we include should be different, and we'll cover a little bit of that again today, to explain this little part of how you can differentiate yourself further, because that is what constitutes of a brand. And that is why we gave an example of sugar, to say sugar is sugar, but if you brand it in a way that it appears differently, this is a psychology thing. If it appears differently, or people feel they connect to your brand, they are more likely going to be loyal to your brand more than they are to another, even if it does the same thing. So even if it's something that can be a commodity, branding does something like that. We'll pack it up in a way that I think will be easy for listeners to remember as well. And then lastly, we speak about presentation. We'll also look a little deeper into how you can properly present yourself and some of the things that you will need to avoid that can destroy your brand, that can harm your brand, that can kill the flight before it even lifts off the ground.
All right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So that's a bit of a recap. So I thought, let's define brand. When we talk about brand, what are we talking about? Some will say it's how you are perceived, how you are seen, what you say about yourself. But I believe a brand is the reputation you have out there. So it is what people, what everybody else says about you. It is what they feel about you. It's how they experience you. However, you have some level of control to create what people say, think, or perceive you as.
All right.
And that is why we're talking about branding. If you don't actively work on branding, you will still have a brand. It might just not be the desired one.
Oh.
Because you will not make conscious decisions about what you need to do, what you need to say, how you need to carry yourself. And by doing that, there are certain mistakes that you will make. So you will be known for something that you don't want to be known for. But when you intentionally choose to look at branding and work on that, you then create a perception that you want. So we may not be responsible entirely for what people think about us. but we have a certain level of influence in how we present ourselves to what they think about us. But because we did speak about you are not for everyone, no matter how good you present yourself, not everyone will like you. But that's just the issue of branding. There are certain brands that will push so much to, in fact, some people believe that when it comes to branding, you must have a brand so strong that somebody either likes you or hates you.
Okay. Now it pushes the extremist.
Yes, it pushes
the extremism actually. Not,
yeah, true. So push your brand so much that you know these ones love me, and then those are the ones you will focus on.
Okay.
So now branding has got your intangible aspects or intangible tools, and it's got tangibles, right?
Okay.
So your intangibles are the things that you will work on in terms of discovering yourself or discovering your business, in terms of what is my business's identity, what is my personal identity. Those are the intangible things, and those things that you discover about yourself are the ones that translate to the tangible tools of branding. That is why you find your logo, your website, your colors. All these things are a translation of the internal things or the intangible things.
Okay.
So that is branding. So when you see colors, they are intentional. When you see a business with certain colors, those colors are intentional. When you see phrases or things that words, emotions, there's a reason why you see most restaurants with red or green and yellow, these bright colors. You see a certain type of financial institutions who will be blue and things like that. They speak. There's something that they're saying about their brand with those colors. So those are sort of the tangible things, the things that you can touch or see that explain what the brand is. And by that, they're trying to communicate who they are so that you have a perception about them.
Okay.
And when you have a perception about them, you can then create or you can interact with them based on how they want you to see them.
Okay.
Are we clear on that?
Akuvumi tool.
Okay.
Akuvumi
ngithule.
All right. Now something drops into my mind, right? To say that sometimes you might not have a brand, but the service that you give might actually drive the people to brand you unaware, and then you identify because of now it's a group of people that you actually are targeting that actually give you a guideline to say actually this is who you are.
Exactly. And do you know why that works like that? Because a service or a product is a manifestation of your purpose.
Okay.
It's a manifestation of your brain.
You say it all. Kubeka. Kubeka Mabaloyi.
So what you produce or what you do for others is a vehicle for you to achieve your destiny.
Okay.
And you can only achieve your destiny when you know yourself. So the gap between your knowing yourself and achieving what you do is what you provide, how you contribute to the world. And that is either the service you provide, the products you offer. Or the books you write.
Can I just make an example about this? Musanka about this. You remind me about myself. Let me talk about myself.
All right.
You know,
don't sell yourself, but talk about yourself.
I'll talk about myself.
All right.
I mean, you mentioned, last week about my story of being security guard, becoming an author. When I started my journey, I used to receive the response from people that you're an inspiration. I didn't know that what I'm doing is actually an inspiration to people.
Yeah,
you understand? Until I realized that, actually, this is what I'm doing to people. I'm actually inspiring people. Now I thought, no, I'm just living my life. Pushing my life so that I can go out from this level to another level. And when it comes to people, it's actually inspiring them. So that's how I realized that, actually, it's an inspiration. I'm an inspirational person.
Yeah.
But it's dangerous because sometimes if you cannot control, you spoke about controlling, and in which is very important. It's a fact, right? Because of now, sometimes now you become bigger than your own brand, and it becomes a problem.
True.
And then you start now already so much with less service.
Yeah.
So I like that point. Your control.
Yes, definitely.
And also because you always keeping yourself humble.
Yes.
Yeah. It is not what inspires you. It is not what people say, but it's just a driving vehicle to fulfill what you want.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that is managing celebrations. You manage celebrations. When you are celebrated, it doesn't mean now you are above everyone else. You still treat them the same way. That is how you manage your brand. You see, if a company is so big, so much that when people come into their store, into their branches, or call them, and then they don't take care of them, eventually, no matter how big you are, you will crumble down.
Not true. And then most of our businesses are killed by that.
Definitely. And it's a branding, it's a branding inconsistency on that. Because we go to them because they speak about what they can do for us. Their websites are full of heaven and earth. You get there, you get hell.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit of earth in yan.
All right.
So it's a branding consistency. Is that whatever you speak, let's get what you speak. That's how you strengthen and establish your brand. So when it comes to authorship specifically, there's the personal branding and there's the book branding. It actually applies to everything else.
It's a principle and a pattern for all.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Every business comes with a product. And you are right that sometimes it is what you do that defines the product. Because a business does not advertise themselves for the sake of advertising themselves. There's something that they're offering. It's just that with an author, there are times when you can be branding yourself without a product.
Okay.
Or while your product is still coming. It helps create excitement and suspense towards whatever you are bringing.
Okay.
Right. So I want us to look a little bit more on personal branding, and then we will end with a bit of product branding, which is your book. And the reason I want us to look at this is because your personal brand backs up the brand of your product. Your personal brand backs up your product, which is your book. If we're to give a more practical example of something that we see every day, if I own a shop, let's look at the food stores that are around, all sorts of franchises, big brands, little brands, and all these things. When they are big brands, so when they produce a new meal or a new burger or a new ice cream and things like that, we quickly buy those things because they are backed up by the brand itself. We will buy them quicker than if we were to go to Amanda's Burgers because we don't know them. Until Amanda builds her brand and you get to trust her brand. When she brings now the Amanda flavored burger, we buy it quickly. So the brand of the business produces power, so to say, for the brand of the product.
All right.
So if your personal brand is strong, you get to sell better. And this is why we're going to talk about, or these are some of the benefits of building your personal brand, is that, number one, it clarifies your goals. It clarifies your goals. That the fact that you sit and think about, what am I doing? Who am I? What is my purpose? And all these things. You tend to create a sense of direction for yourself. You create a sense of direction of where you are going. And once you do that, you are most likely going to get to where you are going. Because if you don't have that, it means you can't clarify your goals. And if you can't clarify your goals, how are you going to hit a target that you cannot see?
Yeah.
How will you know that you've even hit that target? So from a personal development point of view, branding becomes important in that it helps you clarify your goals. It helps you look at your life and where you would want to be. Secondly, personal branding helps you sell better. We just spoke right now about how your personal brand will back up your products.
Yeah.
So when your brand is strong, your product is likely to be more appealing. Also, it grows your career. It grows your career.
Before it grows your career, I just want us to go back to the one of it sells better.
Yes.
Make it to sell better. We spoke, Mahlanga, if you remember, a few weeks back. I was mentioning DJ's Boo when you came and saying, but DJ's Boo, I mean, it's well branded. That is why he sells even in the street,
Mm.
more fire,
Mm.
and people will buy. So I just want you to comment on that, because we had sort of a debate. Ellen,
On that, yeah. And I was right.
You're right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Remember, I agreed with you.
Yeah, no, I was right.
I agreed with you.
Let's get that fact.
Yes.
I concur
Yeah.
to the fact that there are, when the personal brand is strong, whatever comes after that is more likely to sell faster than not an unknown brand.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
I mean, some of the people who've been writing books for the past 10, 20 years, we have not read their books. We don't know where their books are. We don't even know them still. But what the likes of DJ Spoo, for instance, has written books now. And his books are flying off the shelves because of the person.
He used the platform and the opportunity graced to him so that he can be able to build his brand. So what we're saying is, according to what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, it is not easy to sell a product without you started by branding yourself. You need to brand yourself fully so. And then to have any kind of product that you want to sell, it will be easy for you. The example that we were debating on, and in which, yes, we agreed. This DJ, right, made use of the media.
Yes.
Was on media.
Okay.
Did a lot of influence in media. And it was easy for him to say, now, I'm going to manufacture something.
Right.
And then it was like, why? It's because of people trust the brand, trusted him. So what you're saying to say that there are people that actually wrote books for 10 years, but they're not known, is because of they haven't worked on their brand. Definitely.
And if we're going to say, it's like somebody saying, but look, he had the platforms to grow his brand. Let me give you another example who I think didn't have the same kind of platforms, but worked on himself.
Okay.
One of the entrepreneurs, if you're in the entrepreneurial space or the speaking space, you might know about him, Vusi Thembekwayo.
Yeah.
He branded himself as a speaker and as a business speaker. So when he finally wrote his book, The Magna Carta of Exponentiality, I think it was his first book. It sold pretty quickly. He did tours all over the world. He wasn't not a radio presenter, he was not a TV presenter. But the platforms that were available, the platforms that are available today for everybody, he used the same ones. Plus, he presented himself. So it wasn't just about communicating and talking.
Okay.
He presented himself. He delivered. As he delivered, he built his brand. By doing so, by the time he releases a product, we push for it. We want to get it.
The fundamental thing is that you need to work on the brand.
You need to work on the brand.
On your brand.
On your brand. Because it builds your career. And that was the next thing we're moving to.
Okay.
Is that if you're going to launch a career in writing, you want to work on your personal brand. So that when your book comes, or even if the book is already there, people understand you and therefore have a bit of a feel of what they can get from your book. Also, so that when your next book comes, provided the first book they bought was good.
Yeah.
Because that's how you continue establishing your brand.
But with the brand, you can never go wrong, yo. Whether you do junk, because of the brand they trust.
If a brand is strong, people will forgive you.
All right, we've got some people that are watching us on Facebook. As Thomas Masinge, Pascal Tamigenge, Derato Rangweti, Tibo Mudise, Reginald Moyana, and we've got Sonia Shivambu. We've got David Sibino, we've got Brenda Lipule, we've got Nkosana, my leadership, Nkosana Zali, and also Brenda is saying, interesting topic indeed. We appreciate your listenership and also watching us on Facebook. We really, really appreciate so much. Continue doing that. You may continue.
All right, thank you. So, in building your career, any career, in fact, requires some sort of brand building. So if it's authorship, your next book depends on your brand.
Mm.
Because it will be easier to sell your next book
Mm.
compared to your first book
Mm.
when your brand is strong.
Mm.
And you're saying, when you're a brand, even if your book is not so powerful, but because you're a strong brand, you can be forgiven.
Mm.
It's easier to forgive a brand than an unknown somebody. That's how we are human beings, especially when you have a track record of doing good.
Yeah.
When you have a good track record, that's brand.
Mm.
And then you mess up somewhere. The next thing that comes, we'll forgive, we'll excuse you. But if we don't know who this person is, and then there's a book there, and then we open and the first page is like, yo, what just happened here? Tornado book or something.
Yeah.
Then chances are that career is not going to lift off the ground. So also, because when you're building your career, there are other programs that you might want to have, other programs, other products, other services that go around with authorship. The people who write books because they feel they have a message to share. Others will write books because they're running or they work with whatever it is that they want to write about. So there are people who are psychologists and want to educate people about neurology and how their minds work. This new science that is coming up that helps explain how people think, how people make decisions, why people behave the way they behave. It is not so much that they had a new brilliant idea, but they would like to educate more people about and empower people about how they can make better decisions without people having to go and study psychology, for instance.
True.
We've got people who write books because of the experiences that they've gone through. Now, because of these different reasons for writing a book, so if we look back at the psychologist, for instance, she might want to run a program that helps her develop people personally and for personal growth and perhaps leadership. For her to sell that training, her brand will come in place. For her to sell the next book, the training, and maybe the t-shirts that come with it, her brand will have to speak for her. So it helps you expand your business as well, expand your influence. And I'm just thinking now of some of these cartoons that our kids watch. They watch these cartoons so much, but then the cartoon filmmakers realize that if we put these cartoons on the t-shirts, the kids will love it.
Will love it, yeah.
It's the brand.
And
that
in fact,
built.
that's what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Like Spider-Man, for example.
And there are kids who, if it doesn't have that character, they're not going to wear it.
Yeah.
I have a personal challenge. My daughter is growing a little big now. So that age of cartoons and all these things is not there for the older kids' clothing. So now I'm wondering, what am I going to do now? Because they don't have these things for older kids. So I don't know whether I'm supposed to now write them a letter and tell them, please print for special ones for because they've built that brand so much in kids that they want that.
Yeah.
They even want to wear that brand.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Yes. Another benefit of building your brand is it gives you pricing power.
Yeah.
Pricing power.
That one. Yeah.
When you have built a good brand, you don't, in some cases, you don't even have to communicate your value that much because people value you.
Yeah.
Because of your brand. And when they value you, they cannot price you like everybody else. You move from a commodity stage. You see, a commodity, it's those things that you can price them the same. We'll go back again to our sugar. Sugar is a commodity. The pricing of sugar is not that different. You might find a 1 rand difference, 2 rands difference, sometimes 5 rand difference if the brand thinks they are that powerful or they've been there long enough. Things like that. So when you have built your brand as a person, when it comes to your products, even your books, you can sell your books at a slightly higher market rate than others.
Because of branding.
Because of your brand. You've invested in your brand, and your brand must now, it's payback time. It must pay you back. Your brand must work for you, and it also works for your pocket. In pricing, when you are still competing for price, you might suffer a lot because it's a matter of, okay, this is Amanda's book, it goes for 150. Unkarabilo's book goes for 140. I think I'll buy this one, the 140 book. And then I realize people are buying Unkarabilo's book because it's 140. I reduce my price to 130. and then they come to mine. He sees that he reduces, so it ends up being a price war. But let me bring a brand and develop my brand. He can sell it for 2 rand. They'll still buy mine at 300 rand because there is value that is perceived from that brand.
Wow.
So it gives you pricing power. Yes, my pricing of 2 rand versus 300 might be exaggerated, but the principle is the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same. It's the principle. Right. Another benefit is that personal branding gives you influence and helps you persuade people. Look, at the end of the day, when we write and when we speak, we do so to win people over, to understand what we do, maybe to do or understand things the way we do them. Maybe it's a campaign, it is a movement, and we want to win over people to the way we think. We want people to think the way we think. Perhaps it's some awareness that we're bringing. When you build a brand, you have more influence. When somebody is well known, they are most likely to be heard.
Yeah.
Over someone who is not well known.
That's true.
That is how
the
psychology works.
voices might be the same, but the interpretation is different.
It's different
because of the other one is well known, the other one unknown.
And funny enough, sometimes even the message is the same.
Yeah.
I
True.
come and I speak, and they clap hands, and then Pastor Joel rocks up. It's a different story. He goes and he says exactly the same thing. And then at the end of the show, people are quoting Pastor Joel.
Yeah.
Why? He's a brand.
Yeah, I've got Sonia Shivambo says that thank you so much. We learning a lot, and she really appreciate that we are actually discussing this branding topic.
Great. So on influence again, we've had cases where I think the people here are preachers. The people sitting around these mics in this culture are all preachers.
Yeah.
So here you are preaching, and you are preaching about a certain revelation that you received. You didn't hear it anyway, but it's the word of God. The principles are the same again. God reveals this thing to you. You go and preach it. But someone heard it from a famous preacher somewhere else.
Yeah.
They will. Who preaches it after you, by the way? You preach it in 2017. He comes with it in 2025.
Yeah.
Who will they accredit it to? The famous one.
The famous one.
They will even say you plagiarized.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense because that's what we're experiencing, you know.
Okay. You must build your brand so much, that even some powerful, these quotes that we quote about leadership, about famous people who said it, until they credit things that are not even yours.
Yeah.
You must be so good. I mean, there are quotes that we've read, and then when you research, people thought it was a certain famous guy, certain scientist, only to realize it was not Isaac Newton, it was someone else.
Not even Alexander the Great.
Not even. So you build your brand, you become influential. Everybody wants to influence. We want people to understand how we would like things done because we see it as the good way. Hopefully our influence is good influence.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even if it's not good influence, with a brand, you can take people down into a pit.
Yeah.
With a brand.
That's what is happening on a daily life,
basis.
And then you become surprised. But how can this person agree with this person? But because it does not make any sense at all.
Make any sense.
Right? But because of that person is a brand.
Yes, there's a brand that backs up that statement.
Nasitwa man, nasitwa put, nasitwa. I hear.
Right. Now, personal branding encourages alignment. Alignment to purpose. It is easy to swerve away from purpose because of distractions. Because sometimes, because of challenges that we come across, we make decisions based on how we feel at that moment. We make decisions based on the challenges that are at that moment. But if you are branding yourself, because your brand emanates from your vision and your purpose,
Mm.
you are more likely going to be more aligned to your vision and make decisions based on your vision, not on current challenges. So it gives you a long-term view of your life.
True.
It helps you manage expectations. Branding helps you manage expectations. When you brand yourself in a particular way, it's okay to say no to people who expect you to be different.
Mm. Yeah.
But when you are not branded, you can easily be swayed one direction to another. Somebody wants this, you go. Somebody wants you to go there, you are there. Somebody wants you to watch this, you do. Somebody wants you to listen to this, you are there. And then you end up looking like a confused person because you cannot manage expectations. So when you've branded yourself and we know what to expect from you, when you say no to something, it should not disappoint us as much because that's not who you are. But if you've said that's who you are, we expect it from you.
So true.
Because, disappointments come from expectations. So when you manage expectations, you limit the amount of disappointments. When you limit the amount of disappointments, you grow your sphere of influence. And again, a strong brand is easier to survive. When you've built a strong... Look, you will make mistakes. Sometimes as a small business or a new author, when you've made a mistake with your first book, with your first product, it might be the end of your business.
Yeah.
But when you're a big brand and you make a mistake, sometimes we might not even notice. You spent a lot of money doing something, and then you recall. When car manufacturers are busy recalling for airbags or recalling for brakes. Imagine it's a new car on the block,
But it has to be recalled.
Unkaravile is just launching his new car. It's called the Wisdom Maker. And here it's coming and he's advertised it, and there it is, and then people are buying it because they like the advertisements, they liked what Unkaravile was talking about, they love what he stands for. And then 2 weeks later, all their cars must come back, they have a faulty steering. Sometimes when you turn left, it goes right.
We discussed about that in one of the actually a celebrity, the book.
Oh yes, yeah.
Remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think she knows about it.
Date of birth. And
you remember?
Yes.
Anyway.
So it's things like that. We have to recall the car. It's probably the end of his business. They will take back the cars. They don't want to take it back home. They will rather go to a well-known brand. Even if it recalls, they will take it for the 2 hours they need it and take it and drive it back home. Even if the fault is still beeping there on their car. If they haven't experienced it, they might keep driving it because they have learned to trust. The more you communicate your brand, the more you build your brand, is the more trusted you become. So first you establish yourself as a brand. Sometimes, yes, your book is already out, or sometimes your book is what establishes you. Because people have come to understand what that book is about. You may have done very well in terms of marketing the book, in sales and all these things. And then that book ends up defining you. So make sure that whatever you write
defines you.
Is how you want people to perceive you.
Okay.
Because that book is what is going to define you in a way. So even if you're writing fiction and you're writing stories and novels, if you're going to write interesting things or whatever it is that you write in that book, that story, that excitement and all these things, it's going to tell us whether, I'm dealing with a very creative person, I'm dealing with an intelligent person, I'm dealing with somebody who's good at research. From that, your definitions will start. From that, your perception is being built.
Sure.
So that is, you have to be cognizant of who you are and how you appear to others. And then it becomes now a cycle. It becomes personal, product. That is why there are certain businesses, when we see them advertising on TV, it's not all the time that they're advertising a particular product. It's not all the time that they're selling something. Sometimes they're just speaking about themselves. Sometimes they're telling you how they are always there for you. Sometimes they're simply saying, we care about our customers. If they're not selling anything at that moment, that's part of branding. It has to continue. You continue doing, no matter how big you get, you continue communicating that consistently to say, this is who I am. this is what you do. You get personal with your people. When you get personal like that, you attract that emotional investment into your brand. Because as much as we may want to believe that we are logical, yes, I am one of those who also believe I make logical decisions, but apparently over 90% of our decisions are emotional.
Mm.
They're emotional, and then we back them up by logic. It's an emotional decision. It takes very few seconds. And then you think about reasons why you made that decision. But how you tell yourself is not reasons why you made that decision. It's reasons why I am going to make the decision. That is how we can back things up. And sometimes even when we can't back it up with words, we become very emotional and aggressive because of something we want. It's because the decision was not logical in the first place. It was backed up only by logic. So when we don't have the logic to back it up, we fight. So when you create that emotional investment for your brand, then you've got that emotional decision maker.
But you have to manage that.
Definitely.
And then if you come to a point whereby it's unmanageable, then it's gonna deteriorate, right? So that is why in most cases we need to advise people, don't take decisions on emotional state.
Yes. When you are highly emotional, meaning you're either too angry or too excited and all that. But there is, I'll call them not sleeping, but sort of passive emotions. You know, like right now we're talking, we're not necessarily emotional, so to say.
No.
But if I present to you a phone like this, there's something, a phone like a black phone that I'm holding in my hand. There is a way in which you subconsciously interpret what you see. And that is the emotion we're talking about.
Sure.
Is that deep inside of you, there are connections that create a certain emotion towards this color or towards this brand that tells you whether you're going to buy it or not.
No, that's true.
So when we look at phone brands, for instance, there's a certain brand that has presented itself as a brand of status, of serious people, powerful. It's a feeling, it's an emotion. So when you want to feel powerful, you buy that one.
Anyway, time now it is 17 minutes to 9 o'clock. 17 minutes to 9 o'clock. We only left with less than 10 minutes, and then we are at the end of our show. Now, Kone?
Yeah. No,
It is not an enemy.
Yeah,
Ionia Yarat.
Yes. So now, question then is, how do you then establish your brand? We've spoken about these benefits, what your brand can do for you, but how do you establish it? How do you've discovered yourself, you know what you want to do, you want to be known for this, so that you can influence, so that you can sell better, so that when you write, people will, and when you have a seminar, people will come to your seminar. When they know that you're speaking somewhere, they will show up because they want to listen to you and all these things. How do you establish that? It is through consistent presentation and delivery.
Right.
We don't build brands overnight. Understand that. You know, these stories that we hear, these powerful, powerful stories, from security guard to author.
Yeah.
It was not overnight. We see him now as an author, doing all these powerful things, writing books, and we think he woke up in the morning and
author, everything,
newspaper headlines, TV interviews, and all these fancy things. It was not overnight. There was a point where he was aspiring to be where he is now, and yet all we saw was the security guard. There's a time when you will be aspiring to be seen, as something, to be known as something, to establish yourself as an expert in a certain field, and we will still see, the son of Joseph Carpenter.
The carpenter.
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah.
It's building a brand. So through consistent presentation and delivery, consistent presentation, how you present yourself, how you show up. The things you say. And delivery means what you say is backed up by your actions. In fact, rather, your actions back up what you say. Be consistent in your message. Be consistent in your presentation. Be consistent in your delivery. Your
Okay.
delivery includes, you need to develop a communications strategy. Now there are many platforms that are available. We said some people have built their brands through radio, they've done so through TV, they've been interviewed here and there. A good example is how Onkarabile is doing it. He avails himself for shows, he avails himself for interviews, he avails himself for newspaper interviews and all these things. He does his own personal public relations. He's his own PR. And he's doing very well. That is consistent building of the brand. And when he speaks, he's consistent about what he speaks about. But if he does not deliver what he says he is, whatever they write on the paper, if his book does not deliver that inspiration he claims to be, then he's messing up his brand. So if we invite him to say, come and speak to our young people, and he comes and he speaks, but whatever he's saying there is lack of a better word, nonsense.
No, it doesn't. It's a nonsense,
Yeah, there is no sense in it.
No sense it is. It is nonsense.
Then
That's
he
all.
is not being consistent in his delivery. So building a brand takes time, but you must have a strategic plan for it. To say, this is who I am, this is who I'm for, and this is how I'm going to present myself. And when you do that, you do so consistently. I said there are many different platforms that are even free. Social media is one of them. It works.
A lot.
It has worked for many. It continues to work. Right. So with the last few minutes that we have, I think it's good to look at the book branding now.
Okay.
So book branding, like we said, is backed up by your personal brand, right? So because you have a product, you need to have a business outlook about this. Once you write a book for sales, you've started a business. Whether you never thought yourself as an entrepreneur, whether you never thought of yourself as a business person, you wrote a book and you wanted to sell, you have entered into the business world by default. And for you to make it work, you need to have a business outlook about your entire product, meaning your product must be branded as well. Your product must be branded as well. So when you have a business outlook about it, it means you will work on your brand so much that when you sell, you know that the next time you write another book, or the next time you have a seminar, or the next time you have a training, the next time you call people to come in and move with you, or partner with you and sponsor your course, it is easier for them to do so when they've bought from you the first time around.
Sure.
The principle is, it is cheaper and easier to get repeat business than to acquire a new client. So when you've built your personal brand and then you've branded your product well, then you are able to sell the next one well. How do you brand your product? Let me ask it in this way. How do you brand your book? There are a couple of things that we'll need to look at. Some of these things are what have been spoken about previously. You did speak about cover designs, right?
Yes.
And the title.
Yeah.
And the subtitles, if you have a subtitle.
Yes.
That's part of the book branding. It cannot be taken lightly. You cannot go to your computer with your words there and you think you can design it and it should come out all right.
No ways.
Remember, that's what I said.
Don't play like that. Don't play with an opportunity. Remember what the good book says. The race is not for the swift. The battle not for the strong. Food is not even for the wise. But time and chance happens to all. When you've had a chance, use it well.
Yeah.
So you look at how your book looks. Then 2, we look at the inside. Your style of writing. Develop a style of writing. How do you want to write your book? How do you want to connect to your readers? How do you tell your stories? What information do you give them? What is it that is in the book that stimulates their brains? People love that. People love there must be a bit of chakalaka in it, you know. There must be something that makes them emotional, and then something that stimulates their mind, and then new information, and then give them a little break. And you get what I'm saying? How do you develop that style? It must be an intentional decision of how you are going to produce your content. Your experience, how does your experience filter into your book? Because that is very unique. It is not like any other. So if you use your experience to produce good content, you are branding your product in a way that it becomes sellable, and we are able to speak about it, because the most powerful marketing and the most powerful sales strategy is word of mouth. The angle you use. When we have spoken about different things, or rather, when we've spoken about the same thing, we've spoken about houses, we write about property, we speak about houses. When you bring something different about the house, then you bring a different angle. And the new ideas that you bring in your book as well become a selling point, become a branding thing for that product. How do you brand that product? That's why when you look at food, they'll speak about their special spices or their sauce and all. It's part of branding that product. To say the sauce is different from every other sauce. It's a burger. But from one restaurant to another, from fast food chain to another, the sauces are different. It's branding.
Sure.
And when you find that particular restaurant in Joburg and you go to Pretoria, you expect to find the same sauce. That's branding. When you move to Limpopo and then you go to Northwest Mpumalanga, the same name must give you the same product. That's branding. So that's how they brand their products. And you need to think about how you brand your book as well. We still got 2 minutes.
In fact, the minute is gone.
It's gone.
Let me give you 2 minutes. Mlu has already arrived,
Okay.
but let me give you 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Let me finish up. Let me wrap it up. Right. So some of the things that you need to make sure that you do not do. Just few things. When you write, like we said, don't write nonsense.
Yes.
Write something that is full of sense.
Of sense.
By sense, I don't necessarily mean write what everybody's writing. But don't just write for the sake of writing. Take your readers seriously. Don't undermine people. Don't give people junk. Give them good stuff. Secondly, don't speak, or rather don't give confusing and contradicting ideas. If you stand for something, stand for it. Don't be all over the place. And then 3, avoid poor communication. And avoid social media carelessness.
Yeah.
If you're going to present yourself as a good psychologist or a good business person, but your social media is full of pictures that look like they don't belong there, and you say things that is out of character to what you are presenting yourself, you are hurting your own brand.
I was saying, just in 2 seconds, I was saying to Pastor Joel, just imagine I mentioned that I'm with my girlfriend somewhere in a mall. How does that thing build my brand? How does that thing connect with my brand?
It depends. Well, that particular statement, perhaps not. But there are certain things that you might want to bring that are personal. Because people will connect with you on a personal level. If you are too much of a business or a robot, then you rob people of that emotional attachment to you. So you can have a level of personal things, but how personal they get and what those things are is very important.
And should be minimal.
Yes. So we do get personal, but you need to be very careful about what that is and how much of it is it.
All right. Unfortunately, time is against us. We'll have to in 10 seconds each to just say whatever, and then from there we'll just conclude. Maybe if you want to give to ask some more questions, because of we never had time to ask questions, and then Amanda will give you the details, and also Onkarabile will give you his details. Let's just do that in 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds, Matlanga. Next week we are not continuing with this. We are continuing with our show. We are talking about expanding your authorship platform.
Okay.
So let us, our listeners, join us next week as we continue with this powerful show.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. It's been great. It's been awesome being with you. So if you need to get a hold of us to ask those questions, we are on Facebook. It's Amanda Baloyi, or Par Excellence, PAR Excellence. You can find us on WhatsApp, SMS, or call on 081 335 8323. That is 081 335 8323. If it's easier to email, we are on office@parexcellence.online. That is office@parexcellence.online. And that is me signing out. Good evening.
Right. Thank you very much, Amanda, and thank you very much, Unkarabile, for coming through. It has been a very interesting journey, by the way, and then I hope that you are going to open up your lines so that when we call you for some other expertise, you'll do that. I know that now that you enjoy the radio, because I can make people live radio. And then to my listeners, let me rest assure you that it is not the end of you hearing from Amanda. She will come in no time. There's Women's Month that is coming, and Women's Day. Yeah, we'll see around there. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, and then we want to talk about women as authors, and then what impact do they do in the community and society. So that's where she's gonna come in to elaborate and say, as a woman, you must stand up, release your emotions on a book and an ink. Nowadays, it's on a tablet and on the computer. By the way, from me, Pastor Nkosi, I just want to say thank you very much for everything, every moment that we shared together. I'll talk to you on Sunday, though I'll be having a guest on Sunday also for music. But anyway, we continue. Saturday, don't miss out, please. We are having a business seminar called Kagiso behind Kagiso Community Hall behind the old police station. Will be having a seminar there. 12 o'clock we start, 3:30 we are finishing, because of reality, or you know what, Kidabi. And then Dabi Simulaka 3:30. So people who should be at home by that time to enjoy their soccer. Khaliba Felite local soccer. So we are just saying, from us, the three of us, we are signing off now. God bless you. We'll speak to you on Sunday. Shalom. Shalom.